Coming up on this edition of Speed Chronicles, the busy season is here.
SIG Media presents Speed Chronicles with Todd Lewis, powered by Rev TV.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking out this week's edition of Speed Chronicles. We do it every week. Every Wednesday, we record and upload to the Rev TV YouTube channel and your favorite podcast platform. Please like and subscribe. Talking motorsports, talking racing, biggest stories, not really results thing. Okay, after a week off, IndyCar, welcome back. Here we go. High speed right away. Mid-Ohio, Iowa ×2, Toronto, and then Laguna Seca. That's all coming up this month for IndyCar. That is a hugely busy schedule to have so many races. I saw a headline promoting a piece on, I believe it was the IndyCar website. It was one of those things. Oh, we'll have a great headline for this because we're at the middle of the season, and the headline is "Who needs a win in the second half?" Well, everybody except Alex Palou. Well, maybe Kyle Kirkwood doesn't really need one, but come on, man. He's won every race. He's won 6 of the 9. Honda's won them all. It's like, who needs a win? Everybody needs a win. Really, you should be leaning into this dominant kind of season. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. This is a big deal. To win 2/3 of the races in the first half, you should be all over this and pushing this out everywhere. This is your big story. How about Palou's incredible start to the season in the first half? 2/3 of every races. Will Chevy ever win again this year? 9 races, 0 Chevy wins. How about that? You can do better. You can do better. It's also time to focus on the contracts because we're at the middle of the season, and this is the unique part about motorsports in that everybody talks contracts about what's going to happen next. It's unlike some of the other major sports. We've just had free agent frenzies for basketball and for NHL hockey. And in motorsports, it's basically tampering that's allowed, depending on what the contract stipulates. But I mean, it's been speculated for ages about Will Power's future at Team Penske and whether he's going to continue on or not. He doesn't have a contract after this year. He wants to keep racing. Ultimately, he'd love to keep doing it at Team Penske. We'll see. Is it the right time, though, to replace Will Power? We'll talk about this in terms of another contract situation coming up in a couple of seconds too, but Will Power's had an incredible career. Is it the time that he's still got lots left in the tank, I think? He's had some troubles finishing. Of course, as a professional athlete, there's an arc to your performance. It rises, kind of peaks, and then usually tails off a bit towards the end of your career, depending on how you hang along, how long you hang on. But he's still got lots there, I think. And if I'm a team owner in IndyCar who wants someone who can go fast in a car, win races, be in position to win races, Will Power is probably a pretty good choice here. I think the other issues at Penske are really overshadowing the on-track performance. You lose all that leadership in terms of the team. I think that's the bigger impact on your driver performance, not is Will Power time nearing the end of his career. Of course, he's nearing the end of his career. I don't know that I'd be cutting him loose. And I'm not sure that maybe another year somewhere else or two would be beneficial for David Malukas, who is, of course, sort of looked at as the heir apparent to that seat. Another year of maturing and understanding and learning the series and learning to perform a little bit better, I think it might do him some good. We did have some awesome racing this past weekend in Formula One. Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, those two duking it out. That was sensational to watch. Back and forth, fighting for position, trying to take over the lead, and I love that kind of racing. 2 teammates, head-to-head, 2 talented drivers, really good car. Who doesn't want to see more of that in Formula One? I know I talked last week about getting to see the F1 movie, and I'm sorry, life kind of got in the way, and it didn't happen. I was really hoping to. I didn't get to see it, but I do want to get to see it before next weekend. We could talk more about the F1 movie, which apparently has been a blockbuster success, at least in the first week of opening at theaters. The real test will be in weeks 2 or 3, because, you can have all this hype and reputation that says, oh, it's going to be big, it's going to be big. But then the word of mouth gets out, and if it tails off really fast, then maybe it's not quite as good as it could have or should have been. But I'm still anxious to see it. I'm looking forward to seeing it. NASCAR Canada. How about some good news? We got a race in. We got one. First oval, finally done. Happened at Riverside Speedway. Beautiful track, James River, Nova Scotia. It's just outside Antigonish. Some people are a bit touchy about that, apparently. I don't know. Would we have liked more cars? Yes, absolutely. But we had some good racing. We had lots of good action and an exciting race. Would we like more cars? Yes. But this racing is a very expensive business. And with the Western Swing coming up, first head to Edmonton and first head to Saskatoon, I think you're going to be expecting similar car counts at both of those events. The good news is it appears we will have a Western competitor in Matt Shirley has made a deal. He's going to race out west in both Edmonton and Saskatchewan. That's really good. I'm pleased about that. There's a little Western representation. That's good. Had a little Eastern representation with Sarah Thorne, who put together a program to race at Riverside. That was good. This is an expensive sport. Yes, it would be nice to have more cars, but you know what? The business model's got to fit. This is not quite the same racing business it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. It's different now. You can say, yeah, we're ready to go and we're ready to race, but it is a very expensive business. So if we can get the business model working better, then that'll be good. The first race with modified live pit stops. I think the jury's still out on this one. I had a lot of conversations before the race, have had a few afterwards about how this all works in the NASCAR Canada Series. You can do one tire or you can do fuel. That's it on the pit stops. It's a way, I understand the thinking that they're trying to have action on pit lane because teams like it, crew members like it, fans like it. It's exciting to watch. And you want to try to have some strategy and make the pit stops meaningful. I get that, and I think that the sentiment is in the right place to try to do that. But I'm not sure how you can execute it better. When you got short ovals like a third of a mile or a quarter of a mile, if you use the rule of not losing a spot when you pit, doesn't that sort of eliminate the need for the modified live pit stops? It's like, okay, we're under caution and everybody can come in and you'll leave the same way that you came in. Well, that sort of takes away the strategy part of it, doesn't it? And I guess, yes, that safety is a primary concern, and as it always should be. But maybe this needs a bit of a re-examination and a bit of a look at. We do have live pit stops at CTMP and at GP3R. In addition to safety, it's cost savings that are hoped for. By only being able to change one tire, that means you don't need as many people on pit lane to do the live pit stops. But if you come in and do multiple stops, I don't know. Some people try to do 2 or even 3 tires on a stop, and it gets a little confusing and it gets a little difficult. Having a break, I understand it's a sort of stop in the middle of halftime, if you will, like they do in football or basketball. But maybe it is the best way to go. I got to examine it a little more. I want to look at it a little more. Maybe there's something that you can do with the modified live pit stops. I don't know. But it just seems as though it's still a work in progress and needs to be a bit of a work in progress here, because I don't know that anybody's particularly 100% comfortable with it now. So maybe it gets better. Maybe we examine it. Maybe it gets tweaked a little bit as the season goes along. But as far as the first go around, I think the jury's still out just a little bit on that one. Other NASCAR stuff back in Chicago this weekend on the streets of downtown Chicago around Grant Park. NASCAR is back. Are they back again in 2026? I don't know. 50-50 at best from my seat. They have dodged bullets with this event with the weather both years. First year, we were within a whisker of not having that race happen. The city isn't super warm and fuzzy about it either. It's a different mayor and administration since the one that made the deal with NASCAR to hold the race there. They don't like that it's on the long weekend around the July 4th holiday. That's troublesome. It costs money. It costs a lot of money to do this. The funny part to this for me is that NASCAR keeps talking about it as, oh, well, I think we've shown that we have proof of concept. You're late to the party, NASCAR. Street races have been going on in IndyCar and Formula One and other series for a whole lot of years. The proof of concept happened decades ago. It didn't just happen 3 years ago when NASCAR showed up in Chicago. So there's been discussions about a street race happening in San Diego. If you do one, do you need the other? Not so sure that you do. Montreal is on the back burner if in the discussion at all right now. So I don't know. Does it shift away from this weekend? At the very least, I think that's what happens with Chicago and the street race there. I still miss that they aren't at Daytona for the July 4th weekend event. That's still, I'm holding on to the past, but great tradition there of having the 400 at Daytona on the long weekend. Okay, so the other contract situation. Daniel Suárez, Trackhouse have decided. In their statements, they say they have mutually agreed to part ways at the end of the year. Man, I love this HR phrasing, don't you? Oh, that has legalese and HR and warm and fuzzy all over it. It's a nice way to say that the relationship is ending. And honestly, what is Daniel Suárez supposed to say? If he doesn't want to leave, then he gets fired. It's just, this is a nice way of phrasing. We've decided that, we have decided to conclude our relationship. We've both gotten a lot out of it, and we think that it would be best if we both move on and see other people. That's what's happening here. Daniel Suárez is having a tough year. Doesn't seem to be working with Trackhouse. They're all about performance, and they don't think it's happening here going forward. And so if Daniel Suárez hadn't agreed to say, yes, I think we should mutually part ways, they would have fired him. Now, the easy to slot in replacement is Connor Zilisch, who's running in the Xfinity Series this year, doing pretty well. Missed a race because of injury, but he's won some races. He's shown a lot of promise. I've been watching him for a couple of years now. He's had success in everything he's run, but I can't help thinking he might be better served if he did another year in Xfinity. Doesn't always happen that way in motorsports or any sport for that matter. They tend to rush young athletes up through as quickly as they possibly can. It often happens because of salary reasons. But if Connor Zilisch, at 18 years old, really spent one more season running Xfinity, maybe he has a season where he's dominant, really wins a lot of races, wins a championship going away, and matures a little more. Wouldn't that be a better way to launch him into his Cup Series career, still at maybe the age of 19, almost 20? He's got a lot of good years ahead of him. He's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if it's rushing him or not. Guess we'll have to wait and see if it actually happens. Thanks for checking out this week's edition of Speed Chronicles. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Please follow us on the social channels as well. We love the feedback. We'll do it again next Wednesday.